Hello and welcome back MTG Burgeoning viewing audience, and hello, welcome back YouTube viewing audience. If you're still part of the latter and haven't joined the former, you can change that by clicking the subscribe button now. By doing so, you become eligible for so many of this channel's sweet rewards, all of which you can peruse in the description below. In today's EDH Commander Thursday video, we continue our Commander Legends case breakdown with green. Hello, Burgeonites. Hello, YouTube viewing audience. Here we go. If you missed any of our previous installments of this series, you can click on any of the links below and bring you right up to speed. What we pretty much did is opened up a sealed case off camera of Commander Legends, and we've just gone color by color with a breakdown of everything that we've gotten so far in this set. We've done white, blue, black, and red, so all that's left is green, and then we're going to move to colorless and multicolored. So we're going to grab a stack, we're going to go through, and we're going to just start explaining exactly what came in a sealed case of Commander Legends for all green. Now, I will start by saying we got at least one copy of every green card in the set. We got a full play set of every common, at least a full play set of every common, and at least a full play set of every uncommon in the set. So let's just grab some stacks and flip through, and let's see exactly what came in a sealed case. That's 6 sealed boxes of Commander Legends. So we got Wild Size as a common. Lots of copies of those, of course. Wild Heart Invoker. And there's our first foil. Of course, we're going to keep the foils separated so that we can kind of take a continued look at the inconsistent foiling of this particular case, which in the future we're going to determine if it was a global Commander Legends concern or if it was more localized to a particular distributor or where the cards were made. And here's a reprint of Vow of Wildness from the original Commander 2011 set. And then here's a very nice recopy of 3 Visits. First reprinting since, geez, I don't even know, pre-Tempest, that's for sure. I can definitely tell you it was more than 23 years ago for 3 Visits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies. And then you can see a foil version of 3 Visits. Dulled. Just dulled. Just like the previous foiling in the 4 colors that we did prior to green today. Just a dull copy, just a dull foil. And just for the purposes of comparison, like we did in the previous videos, you put up the foil common versus the foil uncommon, and you can just see the differences in the coloring. The brightness versus the dullness. The foil version of Wild Heart Invoker, which is the common, looks like it should, whereas the foil version of 3 Visits, dark, dull, almost washed out, which is a shame because, I mean, getting a foil copy of 3 Visits, that's a nice card. I mean, you want to get foil copies of that. It's the first time you can ever get them in foil. Sweet Gum Recluse. I look forward to putting this card in a bunch of token decks. It would be really cool. I don't know. You cast an Entwined Tooth and Nail, seeking out Sweet Gum Recluse and Sweet Gum Recluse and the Avenger of Zendikar. Put 3+1/+1 counters on each of those plant tokens as long as you stack the abilities accordingly. Pretty nice. 3 copies there. Strength of the Pack. Reprint, at least of playset there. We got Stinger Fling Spider. Soul's Might common. There's another foil there. Lots of copies of Soul's Might, as you can see. And here's our first legendary. We have Slurk, All Ingesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of Slurk, averaging 1 per box. And the Silverback Shaman common. Lots of copies of that guy. Sifter Worm uncommon. 2, 3, 4, 5. Another Spider. This one of the Sentinel variety. Okay, so far we're doing pretty well with our green. All those copies. Actually, how many total copies of 3 visits did we get in that whole box? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 per box. So that's an important statistic to know. I mean, 3 visits is definitely one of the chase uncommons of this set due to its lack of availability prior to its reprint in Commander Legends. So it's good to see that on average there was 1 per box, not including the foil version down there. 1 per box, 1 per 24 packs. Moving forward, there's another foil. All right, we got Sentinel Spiders. All right, another common of Scrounging Bandar. Foil. Continuing with an uncommon of Scaled Behemoth with some new artwork. I believe that's new artwork. I'm pretty sure it is. 6/7 hexproof for 6 CMC is not bad at all. That's not a bad ad in a Xenagos EDH deck. Lacks evasion, though. That's always the troubling part. Root Weaver Druid. This interesting mechanic on this Elf Druid. 2, 3 copies. And then here it is. This is the card, folks. This is the one that's going to rise and rise. I am shocked that at the time of filming this video, that Reshape the Earth is under $5. I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe it's just the community not catching on to its deadliness. But any 10 lands is a game-ending play. I'm telling you, Reshape the Earth. I was so happy to get 2, and I plan to be acquiring even more. 2 copies, Reshape the Earth Mythic. It is the, for me, it is the, of the cycle of 9 CMC colored sorceries, Reshape the Earth is the best one. And as you can see, this foil copy of Reclamation Sage, you have to see just how dull it is, how dark. I mean, if this gets double sleeved, it's not going to look like anything. Look at the difference. Foil common, look at that difference. That's terrible. A foil version of Rec Sage is not a bad card to have. Just unfortunate. Ordeal of Nylea. And there's another legend. We have Numa, the Joraga Chieftain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies, averaging 1 per box. Natural Reclamation with another foil. And here's another great green card. This card here, this Monstrous Onslaught, as I talked about in my favorite 10 cards from Commander Legends, Monstrous Onslaught is going to be an awesome card because it does something in green that's never been done before. It allows us to spread out direct creature damage. As long as, we can get this spell cast and it doesn't get countered. It's sorcery speed, so that presents, a little bit of complications, but if we can resolve it, this does something that no green card has ever been able to do. 3, 4, 5, 6 copies, 1 per box. Average 1 per box. Monstrous Onslaught is another one of those cards that I think is undervalued right now. I really do. It's going to be a lot. It's a lot better of a card than it may appear. All right, copy commons of Molder Beast. Lots of those, of course, because it is a common. And there's a rare, Magus of the Order. I'm not sure how I feel about this card yet. I haven't really given too much thought to it and how to include it in a deck. We'll have to see how it comes out. 3 copies, Magus of the Moon. Back to another common of Lysalana, the Bowmaster. And a foil common. All right, we're reaching about the halfway point of our green so far. Next stack up. Left off with Lysalana, and we'll continue with her. Bowmaster. Common of Life, Crafter's Gift. We'll speed by that because I got a ton of those. And here we go, Kodama of the East Tree. All right, I'm glad we got to this creature. It is my opinion that Kodama of the East Tree is the best new creature in Commander Legends. It's a 6/6 for 4 double green. It's a legend. It has partner and it has reach. And whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under our control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield. It's that wall of text between reach and partner that makes Kodama of the East Tree, in my opinion, the best creature of this set. Play a land, trigger Kodama, play another land. Cast Cultivate, put a land into play tapped, trigger Kodama, play another land. Cast Kodama's Reach, put a land into play tapped, trigger Kodama, play another land. Cast a creature spell, get it into play, put a land into play. This presents such an amazing potential for ramp just by having it on the battlefield, and it's in green, so it's not like we have to wait till turn 6 to put Kodama into play. Kodama of the East Tree, it's my opinion, this is the best creature of the entire Commander Legends set. Very, very powerful. 2 copies. 1 in every 3 boxes of Kodama of the East Tree. 2 copies. Kamal's Will from the Will series. 1 copy of Kamal's Will. 6 boxes. 144 packs. That's 12. I'm sorry, that's 144 packs across the 6 sealed boxes. 1 copy of Kamal's Will. Kamal, Heart of Krosa. A legendary mythic partner. 1 copy. That's a little more understandable because of being a mythic, but just 1 copy of Kamal's Will? Okay. All right, back to Ivy Lane Denizen, back from I think that's from the Return to Ravnica block, if I'm not mistaken. Imperious Perfect, not Impervious, Imperious Perfect. 4 copies, just 4. Immaculate Magistrate, 1, 2, 3, and a foil rare of it. And there's a good segue right there. We go from a foil rare copy of Immaculate Magistrate to an uncommon foil of Iktekik Salvage Splicer. And you can again see the differences in the brightness. It's like every single foil uncommon of this case is stricken with this dulling, dark, washed out, opaque foiling process. It's very, very disconcerting. 5 copies and a foil copy for a total of 6 in the case, averaging 1 per box if we include the foil. Hunter's Insights reprint. Helana Kessig Ranger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jalandra, Caller of Wirewood, our 2nd consecutive partner legend at the uncommon rarity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gift of Paradise reprint, lots of those, including a foil. Thin-Horn Elves. If you have any of the original Thin-Horn Elves, to see it reprinted here, it's quite nice. I mean, the artwork is pretty sweet. I like how they have the little snow going on the trees in the background, and it's another elf druid that can turn itself sideways to give a green and only costs a green. Llanowar Elves, Mystic, what is it? Mystic Elves or Mystic something or other? Elvish, I think it's Elvish Mystic maybe does the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, then a foil copy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A dozen plus. We got a baker's dozen if we include. So we got at least, we average 2 per box of the Thin-Lorn Elves. Thin-Clad Fugitives is another common we got lots of copies of. All right, we're nearing the last 1/3 of this box of green. We'll grab 1 more stack and there'll be 1 left after it. Thin-Clad Fugitives. Speed through that. Another foil. Fertilid reprint. Another common. So we're going to have lots of copies of that with another foil. Farhaven Elf. I do not ever mind having copies of this floating around. It's a great land fetcher. Yeah, the land comes into play tapped, but it is any basic, so it can be, it doesn't have to be a forest. I know Wood Elves is definitely the superior land fetcher because it says forest card, so you can fetch out a shock or a triome or a dual land, but I like including Farhaven Elf in a lot of my decks just to get those basics into play. Having more copies of this is never a bad thing as I go making a green deck and I look for some Farhaven Elves And if I don't have them in storage, I don't really want to cannibalize any of my decks further. So getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a nice foil version, that's going to make the green coffers very, very happy. So 15 total copies of Farhaven Elf, nearly 3 copies per box. I am all right with that all day long. Another common, Entourage of Trust. So there's going to be lots of copies of that. And another foil. Elvish Visionary is another one of those commons that I love to find if I'm making a deck that takes advantage of ETB triggers and I want to be able to draw some cards and have some chump blockers out there. Similar to Farhaven Elf, it's one of those elves in the coffers that I look for frequently when putting together green decks. So the number of copies being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, including the foil. That'll make the green storage very, very nice. And here is just the single copy of the entire case of Dawnglade Regent. 5 and double green for 8/8. When it enters the battlefield, we become the Monarch. And if we're the Monarch, permanents we control have hexproof. Surprising that only 1 copy of this was in the entire case. I don't see that this card is a great powerhouse. I mean, I understand it has value, definitely, with the hexproof and the Monarch and us having creatures in play to act as blockers because we're in green. But just 1 copy in the whole case of Dawnglade Regent. Have to keep an eye on that one. Here we go. We've got a reprint of Crushing Vines. Lots of copies there. And here we are to the Court series, and Court of Bounty is right up there with one of the best Courts of the Court series. This is great because it's a deck, it's an enchantment that you can slot into a lot of pre-existing decks that have green in it. You don't necessarily have to build around the abilities of the court, similar to like the Court of Cunning in blue. Seems like it's a court that you would have to kind of build around to get a either self-mill or opponent mill theme happening. But Court of Bounty going into play lets us become the Monarch. And if we are the Monarch, we can put a creature or land card from our hand onto the battlefield. If we're not the Monarch, then we can put a land into play. So Court of Bounty right now is probably the most valuable from a playability standpoint of the court cycle. 2 copies, Court of Bounty, 1 per 3 boxes. Bio-Waste Blob. I love that they keep giving oozes more and more support. I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time until MTG Burgeoning takes on the directive from the community to create an ooze commander deck. It's going to happen. Maybe Slurk is the commander. We're going to have to see. 1, 2 copies of Bio-Waste Blob. And a foil uncommon of Armorcraft Judge, which is going to lead us to our last stack of green in this Commander Legends case breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of Armorcraft Judge, in addition to the foil copy that we just put down on the left. And there he is, the big guy, the Apex Devastator. I almost want to say Apex Predator every time I start to read the card. I gotta check into that one. Apex Devastator, 8 and double green for a 10/10. That lets us cascade 4 times. Oh, can you imagine if this were legendary? The types of decks that you can construct along casting an Apex Devastator. Oh, can you imagine if this were a partner and legend? All right, I know it's not, so we'll just move past it. Just the 1 copy. Apex Devastator, 1 sealed case, 1 copy. That was all. All right, back to our commons. And here's an interesting... This creature here is very interesting to me, the Annoyed Altasaur. It's a CMC of 7, so it's 5 and double green, but it's 6/5 reach and trample. So those stats alone make Annoyed Altasaur a pretty decent creature to include in a deck. The 6/5 presents a total power toughness of 11. And then we add 12, 13 for reach and trample. That's not terrible. 13 total points of power, toughness, and mechanics for a 7 CMC creature is not terrible. The fact that it also has Cascade makes this creature a little more valuable to me. And the fact that it's only a common That was very surprising to me, and I am happy to have as many copies as this as possible. 6/5 reach trample, so it can be defensive, it can be offensive, and we cascade into something. And it's only a common. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the foil, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 total copies of Annoyed Altasaur. That does not make me annoyed at all. I'm going to have some fun putting him into some decks. I'm telling you, I really believe this is one of the strongest commons of the set. This should probably be an uncommon. It really should. All right, Ancient Animus for a common. Lots of copies there. And Nara, the Wolved Familiar. This is one of the Legend slots, one of our partners that are uncommon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies. And a reprint of the Ambush Viper, our 2/1 Flashing Death Toucher. 1, 2, 3, 4, and our foil common. And that's probably going to round out green, and does. And this is our green breakdown from our sealed case of Commander Legends. The sticking points again come back to like it were for the previous 4 installments in this series, these foil uncommons. I mean, look at this. I mean, the Armorcraft Judge and Iktekik aside, you pull a foil Reclamation Sage and you pull a foil 3 Visits in a case. And you want to be able to showcase that, but look at how dark the foiling is. It's just, I mean, here's the Ambush Viper right next to the Reclamation Sage. Look at how much brighter it is. Like, honestly, I would be embarrassed sleeving up a Reclamation Sage and putting it into my deck. And we get a foil 3 Visits, and honestly, I would rather put the non-foil version in a deck because I think it just looks better. The foiling process on these uncommons are most disappointing from this case. And that's going to be a topic for another time. Folks, this is MTG Burgeoning, and we are breaking down a sealed case of Commander Legends. Again, if you missed any of the previous installments of this series, you can click on the links below and bring you right up to speed. This is MTG Burgeoning, folks. You will go forth, and I promise you, you will enjoy your day.